Welcome to RPG Community College. My name is John Burgundy. I am the dean of this prestigious institution. And today, I've got a build guide for you for Kanerah, the fiery half of the twin tieflings that you're going to be meeting in the Wildcard DLC in Pathfinder Kingmaker. I like to build her as a damage dealer / support character that's gonna abuse her blast's ability to target touch AC to apply some on-hit effects. Her damage is not incredibly high, but it is consistent, and she also has the ability to negate your enemy's concealment at will with Fairy Fire. Kanerah is a Dark Elementalist kineticist, meaning she gains overflow bonus by transferring her burn to the souls of her fallen enemies. If you don't know what burn is or what an overflow bonus does, you should check out the video that I have covering the kineticist class in detail. You're going to be able to find a link to that in the description. But basically, overflow is going to give you a damage boost, and burn is going to lower your maximum HP. But let's start talking about what abilities Kanerah is going to have when she joins your party. When you meet her at level 5, and more than likely she will be able to level up a couple times depending on when you recruit her, but she will always start at level 5 with these features. She has point blank shot, precise shot, and spell pen for her feats. Point blank shot and precise shot are mandatory on any ranged attacking build, and spell pen is useful because her kinetic blasts are energy based, and they are affected by spell penetration, or spell resistance I should say. And Kanerah's chosen kineticist element is fire, so she has the burning infusion, the fan of flames, and extended range infusion as well. Burning is a nice DPS increase against enemies that have low reflex saves, and Fan of Flames is just basically going to turn her kinetic blast into a burning hand spell. She's going to have foxfire and heat adaptation for her selected wild talents, and foxfire is an ability that lets you apply fairy fire to any enemy, which is going to negate any concealment that they might have, like if they were invisible or they had the blur spell or effect on them. This is going to completely get rid of that. And heat adaptation just gives you fire resistance. And because of her Dark Elementalist subclass, she also has the ability to use soul power. This is what you're going to use to transfer your burn to dead enemies to gain an overflow bonus. You can only do this to monsters that are your level or above your level though, so keep that in mind. As far as leveling Kanerah is concerned, I level her to 7 in kineticist to grab a second element. I choose to grab fire a second time to gain access to the only composite blast in the game that is still considered an energy blast. Then I take 4 levels in the rogue class, choosing the thug subclass. This is going to give us evasion, brutal beating, debilitating injury, and access to sneak attack dice. And Kanerah is a pretty squishy character, so evasion is going to help you keep her alive. Brutal beating and debilitating injury are great on-hit debuffs that will help you control the battlefield. After the dip into rogue, I put every remaining level into kineticist. For my skills, I level them in this order, with the skill with the highest priority at the top of the list, and I invest all my attribute points from leveling into intelligence. The talents that I choose to get mostly just make Kanerah deal more damage. Weapon focus, deadly aim, improved critical, and critical focus all fall into this category. Alertness is going to be grabbed because perception is the most useful skill, and Kanerah has a lot of ways of buffing this up. I end up having a plus 42 to her perception in total at level 17 of this build without factoring in any items. And blind fight is just going to be picked up to help with the wild hunt towards the end of the game. I like to get the flash, foxfire, and eruption infusions. Flash is another on-hit effect to go along with the others we've managed to grab. Same thing with foxfire, just another on-hit ability to add to your arsenal. And eruption is going to give you a decent AoE, but it's something I personally never really use, but it's nice to have. Dipping into the rogue is going to be giving us access to some rogue talents, so I chose Canny Observer to further boost up that perception, and Accomplished Sneak Attacker to just bump that damage up a little bit more. And on the kineticist tree, we're going to be getting wild talents. So taking Fire's Fury at level 6 will help you out with the lower damage that energy blasts naturally have, as long as you manage to get an overflow bonus. And the perception skill focus and centipede pet is for boosting your perception. Surprise, surprise. But the centipede pet is also going to be giving you plus 2 to your will saves, which is always welcomed. And that should take care of everything regarding leveling. Most people will finish the game around level 17, but if you manage to get past this, Greater Spell Pen and the Earth Element are solid choices. The only reason I didn't grab Greater Spell Pen is because using Kanerah's twin sister, Kaliki, for fights with spell resistance monsters is how I would deal with that problem. Kaliki has the water element, which is not subject to spell resistance because it's a physical blast. As far as using Kanerah in fights goes, it does take a little bit of micromanagement to get the most out of the build, but as long as you're focusing her attacks on enemies that are flanked and toggling on the right on-hit effects, you're going to be getting the most out of her. Most enemies are weak in a certain saving throw stat, so examining them to know which debuffs will be effective against them is going to help out a lot. Kineticists are probably the most versatile class in the game, and because you get the ability to swap the sisters at any time, you effectively have 2 kineticists in your party. When you swap the sisters, you also get a reduced burn cost for a couple turns, which is going to be very useful for Kanerah because getting rid of her burn can be a pain in the ass sometimes. This is also useful for if Kanerah is in danger, because she is a little bit squishy, but switching to her sister who has more defensive options available to her is going to be a winning strategy. Kanerah is also a welcomed addition to your party out of combat, because she doesn't really rely on a ton of feats to do her damage. She's able to invest into generic feats to increase her perception, and because of our class choices for her, she gains access to a few not so generic boosts to her perception as well, making her perception skill extremely high without needing to sacrifice her combat effectiveness. And she works really well with pretty much any party member, as long as you have a way to flank your enemies. Like I said a little earlier, the kineticist is a very versatile class, and having 1, let alone 2, is a boon to any party composition. But now I'd like to take a couple minutes and talk about some of the items that are going to be pretty good for Kanerah. In the head slot here on her, I've got a kinetic diadem. This is going to be pretty standard for any kineticist that wants to deal damage. This is just going to add 2d6 to your energy blasts. You can find a lesser version of this circlet and a greater version too. The lesser version you can buy like as soon as you found your kingdom, and it'll be in the shop being sold in your town square of your kingdom. And the greater version you'll be able to buy at the Rushlight tournament from one of the vendors. And for the cloak, I just threw the wyvern skin cloak onto her. She's not able to wear an amulet of natural armor because we're going to be using the amulet of mighty fists. So this is a way for her to get a natural armor bonus, which her AC is low, so this is something you're going to be needing. And it gives you a little bit of resistance to other things, but this does mean we're going to have to find our resistance bonuses elsewhere in other items, which can be a little rough. This does help out with that though, the Ring of Security. Also a little bit of spell resistance, never hurt anyone. Ring of Protection, deflection bonus to AC is great. Braces of Armor +5, just the highest braces of armor that you want to spare for Kanerah is going to be amazing. The amulet here, we got the Amulet of Mighty Fist +3. These amulets do work for kineticists. I think you can find a +1 version early on by killing the warg by the old sycamore. Then the +3 version you get later on, like during the bloom, by fighting it's like a mini boss in a hidden area of the first world. Like that area where you gotta use the lantern to move between like sections. Here in the chest I have the Dark Acolyte's robe. This is just nice for a +4 to intelligence, since in the head slot we can't use the kinetic diadem to increase our damage, so we're not able to get a mental stat boosting item, which is usually on the head. So we get it here in the chest. Optionally, you can use the Robe of the Master. This is another really good replacement, and it kind of solves a lot of the problems that Kanerah has. Like it gives you a +5 deflection bonus to AC, 18 spell resistance, +4 resistance bonus to all your saving throws, and 2 spell pen. And there's no stat on the Robe of the Master that goes wasted. And it frees up both of your ring slots for other things too. And that's another really good alternative. And for the belt, we just got a Dex Con belt. She doesn't need strength, so there's no point in giving her a strength belt. For the gloves, it's pretty much just a free slot, like anything, really. Anything that helps, you can just throw it in there. And same thing with the boots. I just gave Boots of Elvenkind because I invested in mobility on Kanerah, so. And for her weapon, I gave her the Staff of Whispering Souls. You can have a weapon equipped on a kineticist and they will still default to their kinetic blast for attacks. And, well, she's evil, and getting a +4 profane bonus to intelligence is great because it'll pretty much stack with any other int bonus you can get. And unless your main character is an evil wizard, there really aren't too many other characters in the game that are going to be using this staff, so it fits very nicely on a Kanerah. But that's going to be all for this video. I hope you learned a thing or two. And if you'd like to continue your education, enrollment is free. All you have to do is like and subscribe. And if you'd like to go that extra mile, I do have a Patreon. Any donation, big or small, really helps me keep doing what I'm doing. Thank you for watching. I wish you the best of luck in all of your endeavors, and I hope to see you again soon.